And I kept reading, and I was like, gosh, man, because that really sucks. I wouldn't mind, like, kind of believing some of this stuff, but I don't know, man. This whole Jesus thing freaks me out. Because I thought, if there was a Jesus, that he was from West Virginia, and it was open season, and he had a 30-06, and he was waiting to take me out. You want to die? Well, I'm going to kill you, because you are a sinner, you wicked, you will burn in an eternal lake of fire. That's what I thought Jesus was, because that's what I heard on TV Sunday mornings. You're going to die and you're going to roast forever. And I was like, you know, that doesn't sound too appealing. So I didn't want to give my life over to this Jesus. I didn't know who Jesus was. My understanding of Jesus was like a lot of people's understanding of Jesus today. Sadly. He was as real to me as the Easter Bunny, the Tooth Fairy. It was something that everybody celebrated Christmas because you get a day off of work. But as a culture, you know, in America, we've really shifted from believing it just to going out buying presents, celebrating, getting a day off work, and then you go on with the rest of your life. Just like you do when you tell little kids there's a tooth fairy and there's an Easter bunny. But who really believed in this Jesus guy? You know, so many people, that's their understanding of who Jesus is. He's not really real. He's just something we kind of made up. And this is what people are taught. This is what Time Magazine will tell you. But that's what I thought at the time. So I'm reading this book, and I'm like, all right, look, Mary, you're appealing to me. And so I'm willing to listen to what you're saying. But if anybody would know the real Jesus, you know, it kind of makes sense to me that it would be his mom. Because the guys on TV kind of freak me out. Some people that I know that said they were Christian have kind of freaked me out. And so if you teach me about a different kind of Jesus, I'm all ears. And I kept reading the book, and she started to, through these messages. That he's just, obviously, that there's truth and it doesn't change, but that he's merciful, that he's compassionate, that he understands, that he's come, and he sent his own mother for people like me. But then I kept reading and I lost hope because I thought, wait a minute, do you really know me? Do you know how broken and wounded I am? Do you know how much things I've done to women? The things that I've done, the most foul, disgusting, perverse, sick, animalistic things. Do you have any idea? Is this for me? I don't know. And then there was a card in the book, and it said a message from the Blessed Virgin Mary, and it blew me away. It was the kicker. It said, Mary saying to you know, these children, but to the world, she said, you don't have to change to love me. Loving me will change you. That's profound, my brothers. You don't have to change to love me. Loving me will change you. Why? Because love changes everything. I thought I did a lot of loving in my life, but not divine sacrificial love, heavenly love. And I closed that book, got up in the morning, I didn't go to bed, see my mother, told my mother I wanted to talk to a Catholic priest, which was really hard for me to say, because I was pride incarnate. My mother laughed, actually, when I first said it. Went to talk to a Catholic priest, totally freaked that dude out, because I had long hair just like a freak, and, you know, my language was not good, and I just freaked out on him. He didn't know what to do. And so I went to the church. When I went into the church, guess what was in there? 5 Filipino women. It was 5 for me, right? I walked into this church, and there in the front row was just 5 Filipino women, and I thought they were going to all jump up when I walked into the church and start screaming, evil is upon us, evil, wicked, be gone, Satan, right? That's what I thought, because I felt nasty. I mean, I felt just disgusting. My soul was just black. And so I went into this church, go to the back, and they start doing some incantation. You know, I don't know what this thing is. It was the rosary, obviously. But I didn't know what it was. I thought they were doing a seance in the church, you know, and I was waiting for the priest to come in and kick some butt, you know. A day of reckoning, these Filipino women in here, you know, invoking the spaceship to come get them. I didn't know what they were doing. I was found out later, fell in love with the rosary, and now pray it every day. The priest comes in, and he's dressed like a hippie. Right, he comes in, he's got this green vestment on with a flower on the front. Comes up, and I'm like, what? Was not expecting that. And he comes in, and he starts saying all kinds of stuff, and I can't hear him. Have you ever been to a church where it's Charlie Brown kind of stuff? It's like, you can't hear it? It sucks, right? So that's what's going on. I'm like, what? I'm like, dude, I can't understand what he's saying. And he's going to this place, and he's going to this place, I can't understand. So at one point he goes to the middle where there's this table. I didn't know it was an altar. Never been to a mass before, never been to church, right? Like this, and so he bends over, and the microphone at the altar works, thank God. He bends over, he picks up a little white circle, and he picks it up and he says, "Take this, all of you, and eat it. This is my body." And he holds it up. I'm just standing, kneeling, looking, and I'm like, huh? And all of a sudden I heard a voice. It wasn't me. And it wasn't one of the Filipino ladies. They're way up in the front. There was nobody around me. And the voice said to me, "Worship." And in an instant, I don't know how to explain this, Catholicism 101 was injected into me. A gift of knowledge. I knew that that was the Messiah, God. I didn't know how. I would learn the theology later. And then the priest took the chalice and said, "Take this, all of you, this is my blood." And he lifted it up. And the same voice said to me, "Worship." And I knew in an instant that that was somehow the blood of God. Saving drink. And then I saw those Filipino ladies get up, and they went down and they saw the priest. You know what the priest did? You know. I didn't know, but it blew me away. The priest held up little Jesus. Right? That's what I thought. I didn't know the theology. I was learning. You know, it's not like you get a toe today, you get an ear, you get a kneecap. I would learn it doesn't matter how big or small the pieces are. It's all Jesus, right? But he held up little Jesus. And he said to each one of them, the body of Christ. And he put God in them. And then he did the same thing with the chalice, the blood of Christ, and they drank it. And I freaked out. Believe it or not, I inquired, looked into it, took some time, but I was accepted. And studied for 10 years, had to get all these degrees on stuff, and was ordained a priest just less than 6 years ago. Now I travel the world every week, literally internationally, telling them about Jesus, Mary, the church, the truth. And that's what I'm going to talk about in my afternoon talk.